a lot of people don't really realize that there is a science. I mean, most people who, carb deplete, while they're dieting, to try to get in shape, it's because when your glycogen levels are low, your body will dip into stored body fat more frequently. Obviously, if you have full glycogen stores, your body has plenty of energy to use. So, and plus low carbs, low insulin output, obviously, lower calories. There's a million benefits of why you lose more weight on low carbs. But when you're trying to, let's say you're in shape at 8 days out. Now, why do guys carb deplete more if they don't really need to? Well, if you have the ability to do that, and some people, if they carb deplete too much, they'll flatten themselves out too much and it'll ruin their look. But for people who can carb deplete, when you go really low carbs, glycogen synthase, which is an enzyme inside the muscle cells that stores glucose as glycogen, which makes the muscles look fuller, obviously. When you restrict carbs like down to almost nothing for 3 days, your glycogen synthase levels, elevate well above what they normally are in the cell. And why is that? Because the cell doesn't know that it's not getting fed enough. It just thinks there's not enough of this enzyme present, and that's why there's not enough glycogen. So you're basically tricking your body. But you can only trick your body for about 72 hours, and then it kind of catches on to what you're doing. So you carb deplete for 3 days. Usually it's like a Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, or Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And then you can load, depending on how much you need and how big you are, and how much glycogen your muscles will hold, you can load for 3 days. The advantage is now that you're going to be able to store more glycogen you were before because you have more of this glycogen synthase enzyme present. A lot of people think insulin is the key to storing glycogen, but it's really not, because once you get the glucose into the cell, it's got to be stored. If you don't have enough of the storage enzyme there, you can pump all the glucose into the cell you want. It's not going to get stored beyond what you have present. So, the new term deloading, reloading, whatever you want to call it, glycogen depletion, carb loading, there's a million different terms. They all mean the same thing. It is a real scientific phenomenon. When I teach my guru course and my smart personal training course, I explain the theory and the science of carbohydrate loading. Now, for people who are like distance and endurance athletes, they'll carb load like that just to store more glycogen so that when they're running these long races like marathons or they're cycling 100 miles, they have more glycogen in the muscles before they run out. And that's a problem. When you run a 26.2, mile marathon, usually around the 20-mile mark, you run out of glycogen, stored glycogen. If you can store an extra, little extra, bit so that you can maybe get to the 22 or 23-mile mark, you'll make it, your energy levels will be better. You'll be able to sustain your pace better. And you'll only have to suffer really the last couple miles as opposed to the last 6 miles. And that's the advantage for endurance athletes.